So while everyone is watching the Olympics, I'm watching Sunny.
You stole her underwear?
I kept her underwear.
But even though I'm not watching it, I am seeing everything about it be posted on Twitter, especially the boxing match between Algeria's own Imani Khalif and Italy's own Angelina Carini. Her last name sounds like a pasta. Just saying. Now, if you didn't watch the fight, it lasted all of 42 seconds after Angela took a fucking whopper to the nose and quit herself during the Olympics. Set aside that people think Imani is a guy, how the fuck are you gonna go into the Olympics for boxing and quit less than a minute into something you've been training years for? And the quote she gave is hilarious. I've never been hit so hard in my life, but then someone pulls up her boxing record and it says she's been knocked out once. You're telling me a punch to the face that didn't even you're telling me you're telling me a punch to the face that didn't even knock you off balance is worse than getting knocked out? Is worth a burp interruption. And not to talk shit, because I am, but in 84 fights, she's only had 4 KOs. That means 80 of her fights went the distance. That's freaking crazy. She has 0 power and was relying on points for each of her wins. And what's even crazier is that she was knocked out recently. It was 2 years ago, but it wasn't like this was something new. It wasn't like she was knocked out in her first fight ever and then this was like, oh my god, I haven't been hit this hard in years. She literally got knocked out 2 years ago. And I have no idea who started the rumor, the lie, that her opponent Imani was trans. I think it was this guy Colin Rugg, who literally says South Park became reality after biological male boxer Imani Khalif forces Italian female Angela Carini to quit 46 seconds at the Olympics. Khalif is a biological man who failed a gender eligibility test at the 2023 World Championships, and then post a video comparing the South Park episode where Randy Savage joins the strongwoman competition to the boxing match. This guy literally got all his information off this girl's Wikipedia page only to misunderstand every single fucking thing he's read and then make a claim based off that. When in reality, Imani has hyperandrogenism, which is a condition that is characterized by abnormally high androgen levels leading to elevated testosterone and the presence of XY chromosomes. This is a natural disorder. And if you're like, hey, you really gonna believe some guy with the blue check on Twitter? Just fucking Google it, and it says that it affects 5 to 10% of women. But fucking Colin was like, there's no way I need to do any more research. Fire up the tweet machine, because we're about to start some shit. We're about to start a whole freaking controversy over nothing because of me, Colin Rugg. The dude has a vagina. Like, almost immediately after this was posted, people started posting pictures of Imani as a child, saying she was a girl the whole time, you idiot. And besides, it is illegal to transition in Algeria, where she's from. And I don't know much about the Middle East, but I know that the LGBT plus community is not really welcome there. So for him to think that Imani somehow transitioned from a guy to a girl, won 3 gold medals and a silver one in various competitions without her country or anyone else knowing is the most insane thought process I have ever heard. And just going based off where Colin got his information from, the organization that tested and disqualified her from competition in 2023, first of all, didn't even reveal the methodology of their testing, stating that the specifics remain confidential, but also they had their Olympic status revoked last year because of governance issues and corruption. 100% these Russian fucks saw that Imani had hyperandrogenism, and when they found out what that was, they're like, no. See, our women are born perfect, not with all this extra shit. You're done. Get out. The Olympic Committee themselves are even defending her and another athlete, saying that these 2 athletes were victims of a sudden and arbitrary decision by the IBA towards the end of the World Championships in 2023. They were suddenly disqualified without any due process. This current aggression against these 2 athletes is based entirely on this arbitrary decision, which was taken without any proper procedure, especially considering that these athletes have been competing in top level competition for many years. Which is like, right? You don't win 3 gold fucking medals only for you to be exposed getting your 4th one? It is also worth mentioning that there also is another boxer that everyone thinks is a guy who transitioned into a girl. She's not getting as much attention, but her name is Ling Yuting, and basically the same thing happened to her. They tested her and they're like, well, we hate to break this to you, but our test shows that you're a boy. Yep. Full on boy. You got penis between those legs. What's weird though is that Imani had lost one of her fights before this, but no one was like, are we really letting men lose to women? Why is this happening to our culture, society? But because some Italian boxer wasn't ready for Olympic competition, everyone's going to shit their pants? You got hit in the face for a sport that trains you to be hit in the fucking face. Shut the fuck up with your crying. The biggest problem about this though is that people who actually have a significant following with a massive influence over that following are starting to talk shit about this girl. Like Elon Musk replied good to a tweet of Trump saying that he's gonna keep men out of women's sports, even going so far as to have community notes be turned off for anyone saying anything about her. And I mean, Anonymous did post this, so I'm like, let me see if this is true. And there are no community notes on this Colin Rugg tweet saying that Imani is a biological man. If I tweeted out that Elon Musk has the plumpest pussy in the solar system, I'd get this manipulated data warning. Like even Logan Paul had to chime in and give us his thoughts, his unwanted thoughts on this whole situation. Like, dog, we were doing so good without you. The Olympics were going so fine without you. Kinda. But Logan Paul is like, this is the purest form of evil, unfolding right before your eyes. A man allowed to beat up a woman on a global stage, crushing her life's dream while fighting for her deceased father? The delusion must end. And then his dumbass realizes that he made a mistake, and he's like, oopsies. Looks like I'm guilty of spreading misinformation along with the entirety of this app. Hey, don't bring us in on your problems. Only a handful of retards like you were spreading misinformation. Other people were reading the full Wikipedia article and not just a couple of sentences. But he's like, although she's been previously disqualified for failing a gender test and has XY chromosomes, some sources say Imani was born a biological woman. Yeah, the sources are her and her family, you freaking idiot. He even says, I stand by my sentiment that biological men should not compete against biological women in any sport, and if you disagree, you're a sick fuck. I think filming a dead body and then putting it on YouTube would put me in the category of being a sick fuck, don't you think? And not like a sick fuck, I mean like, you're disgusting. He then posts this picture where he asks why Imani was disqualified, and it's like, you did less research than Colin. What? Y'all should be ashamed, but hey, opinions of stupid people don't really matter, and she's scheduled for another fight tomorrow. I'm also scheduled to get my pins taken out of my arm tomorrow, but even then, there's no video because of UFC. Until Sunday, peace!